It is the 15th of February. A 20-year-old boy named Takatoshi Minamiyama from Kyoto encounters a beautiful girl named Imi Fujuku on a train while on his way to college. He is instantly smitten by her, and he calls it love at first sight. Takatoshi is a visual arts undergraduate student and political satirist. Takatoshi is shy by nature and initially suppresses his feelings, but ultimately decides to approach her. He deliberately misses his stop to talk to her. After getting off at her station, he awkwardly tells her that he has fallen in love with her and asks for her email. Takatoshi doesn't sound shy to me. When she tells him that she doesn't have an email, Takatoshi thinks she is turning him down and proceeds to leave. But Imi stops him and assures him that she really doesn't use an email. The two then sit on a bench and get to know each other. Imi reveals that she is a 20-year-old cosmetology student and she recently moved to the city. When Imi asks him why he wanted to talk to her out of all the girls on the train, Takatoshi tells her that he felt a sudden instinct to approach her, which he can't explain in words. He says that he felt like he has known her for a long time. Takatoshi proceeds to tell her something about the Takaragaiki Lake, but Imi suddenly gets up and tells him that she has to get going. Before parting ways, Takatoshi asks Imi if they will meet again. This, for some reason, makes her emotional, and she says until tomorrow before leaving. At school, Takatoshi tells his best friend, Shoichi Ueyama, who is good with girls, about Imi. Ueyama finds it hard to believe that a shy nerd like Takatoshi asked a girl for her phone number. Meanwhile, the latter is worried if he will meet Imi again, and Ueyama assures him that Imi will come looking for him. The next day, Takatoshi looks for Imi on the train, but doesn't see her. Dejected, he goes to the zoo to draw sketches for his assignment. To his surprise, Imi approaches him at the zoo. She compliments his drawing and comments that his school should definitely display his work. However, Takatoshi is puzzled, wondering how Imi found him at the zoo. Imi tells him that he told her his plans at the zoo in their last meeting and changes the topic. Takatoshi is puzzled as to when he said this, but he is soon cut off by Imi. She asks him what he wanted to tell her about the Takaragaiki Lake the last time, and Takatoshi tells her that it is one of his favorite places. He takes her there and reveals that he once fell off the pier and almost drowned in the lake when he was saved by a woman. Imi reveals that she too once almost died when she was 5. This is a strange coincidence that both of them share. This time, Imi gives Takatoshi her phone number before parting ways. After returning home, Takatoshi tells Ueyama that he finally got Imi's number, and Ueyama encourages him to ask her out on a date. Takatoshi obliges and calls her, but doesn't know how to ask her out. So, Ueyama writes cards for him and helps him. The next day, Takatoshi learns that his school has displayed his drawing on the board. Following the tips from his friend, Takatoshi goes to explore his dating spot by himself, so he could be as confident as possible before meeting Imi. Takatoshi then takes Imi to the same spot and shows her an awesome time. He also takes her to a movie, and the date goes really well. At the end of the date, Takatoshi musters the courage to ask Imi to be his girlfriend. Imi points out her flaws, such as her emotions, but Takatoshi tells her that he loves everything about her. This too makes the girl tear up. The next day, she shows up at Takatoshi's house to help him move to his new apartment, where she finally meets his best friend, Ueyama. After moving the stuff in, Ueyama leaves, but Imi stays with Takatoshi to help him organize his apartment. She finds a mysterious box in one of the large carton boxes, and Takatoshi reveals that he met the woman who saved him from drowning at the lake at a market 5 years ago, and she gave him the box. He also reveals that she asked him not to open the box until they meet again. After arranging his home, Takatoshi walks Imi to the station, and on the way he musters up some courage and nervously asks if he can hold her hand. She obliges, and they hold each other's hand for the first time. Takatoshi is extremely happy, as he is holding a girl's hand for the first time, while Imi gets emotional and begins crying again. Imi and Takatoshi start spending more and more time with each other. Imi cooks for him, and her cooking surprises him, as her food tastes just like his mother's cooking. Imi speculates that maybe his mother adds chocolate in her food, just like her. This surprises Takatoshi, as he had never told her that his mother adds chocolate in her dishes. Takatoshi finds it strange that Imi is able to predict things about his life, as she had earlier predicted that his drawing of a giraffe should be displayed at the school. However, Imi laughs it off and asks him what he would do if she could predict the future. Takatoshi jokingly replies that he would gamble all day and become filthy rich. At least Takatoshi is honest. The two continue to spend more time together, and on the 15th day, the two make love, which again makes Imi emotional. It is getting late again, and Takatoshi walks Imi to the train station. After returning home, Takatoshi finds Imi's journal on his table and goes through it. Lo and behold, the diary contains future predictions of the next 15 days. The first entry is dated March 16th, while the last entry is March 1st. In an entry from March 15th, Imi has written that she met Takatoshi's parents. It seems Imi has written them as if she is racing through time backwards. Takatoshi then receives a call from Imi, and it is revealed that she deliberately left the diary on his table. She promises to tell him everything, and asks him to meet her tomorrow in his classroom at 6 a.m. She also asks him to bring the mysterious box with him. Just as the clock strikes 12, and before Takatoshi could get a word in, Imi disappears from the phone booth like a ghost. The next day, Imi meets him in the classroom and tells him that she is from a parallel world where time moves in the opposite direction. In other words, what's the future for Takatoshi is the past for Imi, and vice versa. This explains how Imi knew that Takatoshi's picture was going to be displayed in his school. Takatoshi is stunned by the revelation, and doesn't believe any of it at first. But when Imi tells her how she knew of his mother's secret recipe without ever meeting her, he starts trusting her. Imi then opens the box that the woman who saved Takatoshi from drowning gave to him. Takatoshi is shocked to see a picture of Imi with his parents and him. She explains that the picture is from her past, i.e. his future. Imi has been watching Takatoshi from afar since he was young, and she was the adult woman who saved him and gave him the box. It is also revealed that Takatoshi will save her from dying when she will be 5, because her memories of him fade as time goes on, and her time goes backwards. She keeps a journal to remind her of him. She also tells him that they can only be together for a month every 5 years, because that's when Imi's universe and Takatoshi's universe synchronizes. Moreover, 20 is the only time that their age matches, and the current month is the last time where they can pursue a relationship. Despite them fast drifting apart, Imi tries to enjoy the moment, but Takatoshi feels conflicted about the fake nature of his and Imi's relationship. He tells her that he can't continue like this, saying he doesn't want to enact a script from someone's diary. He meets his friend at the laundry shop, and without revealing any details, he tells him that Imi and he are moving past each other. Takatoshi compares Imi and himself to the Earth and Moon that's drifting away 4 centimeters from each other every year. However, Ueyama makes him realize that it gives them all the more reason to make the best of the time they have left together. Suddenly, Takatoshi comprehends the reason why Imi used to get emotional all the time. Takatoshi's first meeting with Imi on the train is actually Imi's last, but Imi still acts as if she has met Takatoshi for the first time. Realizing this, Takatoshi becomes devastated, as Imi has been sacrificing her feelings just to stay relevant with the timeline. He then immediately calls her and apologizes to her. From that day on, the two spend their remaining days together, cherishing every moment they have. On March 15th, Takatoshi takes Imi to his hometown. He shows her his favorite restaurant. Imi loves the food and stomps her foot on the ground like a child in excitement. In a flashback scene, Takatoshi tells Imi that he only plays football because his dad loves to see him playing it. He tells her that when he grows up, he wants to be a comic artist. Back to the present, the lovebirds go to meet Takatoshi's parents. They are given a cold welcome by his father, but his mother is elated to see his girlfriend. Takatoshi's mother makes dinner for them and tells Imi about his childhood. When Takatoshi's father leaves after having dinner, his mother tells Imi that he only acts cold in front of others, but deep down he cares a lot about his son. The couple then takes the same family picture from the box before leaving. On their way back, Takatoshi breaks into tears, despairing over the family he won't get to start with Imi. March 16th finally arrives. It is the last day they would be together as equals. This is the last day for Takatoshi, while it is the first day for Imi. This Imi doesn't remember how Takatoshi and her spent the previous 30 days together, as every midnight, a new Imi meets Takatoshi. They meet at Takatoshi's class because he has been meaning to draw her since he first saw her. Imi has a diary in which she has written how she broadly spends her time with Takatoshi, according to what the 25-year-old Takatoshi told her. So she asks a 20-year-old Takatoshi to tell everything about their time together in the last 30 days, in as much detail as possible. She asks him this as from now on, she intends to use this updated diary to relive their time together. Takatoshi then delightfully explains to her about the blissful days while drawing her. This brings him to tears. Later, Takatoshi stays with Emi till midnight. A few moments before midnight, Emi asks him what kind of girlfriend she was and if he was happy with her. Takatoshi tells her that the last 30 days with her were the best period of his life. He also tells her that they are not drifting apart. The edges have been tied into a ring, connecting them as one life. The clock finally strikes 12, and Emi disappears. This makes Takatoshi annoyed, but once he grasps reality, he calms down. 5 years pass by. Takatoshi is now 25. He meets a 15-year-old Emi and shows her the painting he drew of her 5 years ago. Emi notes how the future Takatoshi is more mature and wonderful. Takatoshi hopefully does not hit on the 15-year-old Emi. A further 10 years later, Takatoshi rescues 5-year-old Emi from a festival fire. The film then cuts to a montage of the film, presented from Emi's perspective, in reverse, ending with her and Takatoshi's introduction on February 15th on the train. The last day she met him,